scam? Did I get scammed? Friends, Argyle was such a journey. From trailer to the book to the movie. We're going to talk about all of it. This is my full review, so fair warning. This is a review that will be filled with spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, go check out my reaction to the movie, which I filmed right after I came out of the theater, and I do not talk about any spoilers. Because there are some twists in this. It's definitely a film I could spoil. I don't want to spoil it for you. So fair warning. Now we talk about spoilers. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? The trailer for this movie dropped, and when I first saw it, I thought, what is this? It just actually came up in my YouTube. It caught my eye. I watched it. I thought it was really fun. And I was like, yeah, I want to do some content about this because I just thought it was a really cool trailer. It looked very original. Why am I wearing my headphones right now? Let me take my headphones off. Acting like I'm listening. I'm not listening to anything right now. Yeah, I really loved the trailer. I just thought it was really well done. And then, you know, a period of time passed. The trailer came out. The trailer looked amazing. I even just went back and watched the trailer, and I gotta say, whoever cut that trailer, it is really, really good. It's really freaking good. Like, it makes the movie look so amazing. I wish the movie was as amazing as that trailer looked. We got it, and then there was a whole period of time where there was just radio silence. Then, after I did watch the trailer, I also looked up that there was going to be a book, because I was wondering, you know, is this in the Kingsman universe? It just gave me that vibe, and, you know, it's the same director, but I also know Kingsman is based off of a graphic novel, even though the movie is, I feel like, very tonally different from the graphic novel, but I digress. So I was wondering if this was based off of anything, if it was related to Kingsman, or if it was based off of a different graphic novel or a book, and I found out there is a book, but the book wasn't being released until right before the movie, and it was the book that inspired the movie, but the book wasn't out yet. And I thought, interesting, this sounds really meta, like maybe this is a book that's in the universe. So, Michael, thank you so much for getting this book for me off my wish list. By the way, I got the audiobook, and I was able to listen to it before the movie came out. And the book is very meta. It's not a book that actually inspired the movie. It's the book in the universe, the first one in the franchise that Ellie Conway, the character, writes. Hence why it was written by Ellie Conway, which obviously it wasn't. It was probably written by the same person that gave us the script, or by a ghostwriter who was given, you know, some plot points and just had to basically write it. Everyone was also talking about how for some reason everyone had theories about Taylor Swift writing it. I saw TikToks everywhere talking about this. Some friends sent me these TikToks, and honestly, I should have done a reaction to that because I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. And overall, it's definitely not a book, I don't think, that's written by Taylor Swift, FYI. I think that theory is silly. But I understand everyone loves Taylor Swift and is obsessed with her. So, of course, that's a theory that people came up with based on very loose Easter eggs and breadcrumbs. The book itself, though, is just kind of okay. The narration for the audiobook is not very good. So I would say if you're thinking about reading it, I would read it. I think as a spy book, it's just a nice little like page turner. I think as an audiobook, it was hard for me to focus to it. It was hard for me to focus on the book when I was listening to it. So I wouldn't recommend it. The actress that they had that read the book, she is British and she's doing an American dialect, and there's just a lot of moments where it doesn't sound American, where her accent slips. And I think it could also have had to do with how fast they probably had to put this book together. So I don't want to like rag on her. So I'm not even going to mention her name because I don't know if it's really her fault. But yeah, it's not great. So I would skip that and just read it verbatim, word for word on a page. But yeah, it's just all right. And it's basically Argyle's origin story. So the character Argyle that Ellie writes about, his origin story in her narrative, her literature universe. So having listened to that audiobook, and been like, that was a bit challenging for me to listen to. And I was like, it was just all right. I don't know. I went and looked at the reviews, and the reviews, everyone was basically saying the same thing. Like, it's all right as a spy book. It's pretty good. The narration is not good in the audiobook. And then a million people saying, I heard Taylor Swift wrote this. I'm definitely going to read this because I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift wrote this? Did she write this? Oh, she definitely wrote this, which also made me want to smash my head into a brick wall, but I digress. I then went to go see the movie, and honestly, the movie starts off all right. The idea of, you know, we have this writer and she gets pulled into this spy world, and then it turns out, you know, something's going on where she's seeing the character from her book as this spy that just sits across from her. She finds very strange and kind of annoying. He starts turning into Argyle in her mind. So she starts seeing him as Argyle, and she's like, what is happening? However, this is also where the wheels started to fall off a bit, because we had the blink effect. The blink effect is when every time a character blinks, you see their eyelids close as though you're seeing through their eyelids on the screen. So, you know, if you're looking at me and then you blink, that would be the blink effect. That's what it looks like. It is fine in small doses. It goes on for like, there's like 20 blink effects maybe in this whole scene or more. It's just a lot. And I think the blink effect and how it's used kind of sums up my overall thoughts on this film. We'll come back to that at the end of the review, but just keep in mind the blink effect. It really speaks volumes. The movie then, from there, we go on this journey with Ellie and this agent, and they're, you know, kind of working together to stop this bad sort of spy agency who want to get Ellie because they want to find out what happens next in the book, because her books are like coming true. Like, it's all based on real life, whether or not she knows that or not. She says, no, I just come up with these ideas. It's not based on anything. How is that possible? How is that possible? Well, there's some twists that explain it. The twists actually were really cool, but they kind of also just become too much. Like the film overall, it just does too much. That's one of my big issues with this movie. So some of the twists that I really liked is we find out that Ellie's parents are actually not her parents. They actually aren't real. They're not her real parents. They're themselves spies. We also find out, when we find out who is Argyle, it turns out Ellie is actually Argyle. She's Rachel Kyle. Argyle? Rachel Guile? Or Rachel Kyle. She is an agent, and the character that she's writing about is based on her own sort of suppressed memories, because she was captured by the bad spy agency, and she was basically brainwashed so that they could use her, have her write stuff, and she would write her subconscious memories that now have been buried from their brainwashing. Another really cool twist is that Sam Rockwell's character actually is basically her Wyatt in the book. So Argyle and Wyatt are partners, and they go into this as well in the book. If you read Argyle the book, Wyatt's character is played by John Cena. Argyle is played by Henry Cavill. And they have this really fun, like, bromance in the book that we also see some of it in the movie. And I loved it. I just thought it was really funny and really cute. And I wish we got to see more of it in the movie, to be honest. It's really good. And so it was kind of cute to realize that, like, Sam Rockwell is, like, the Wyatt, and then Rachel was Argyle, and then they actually have a love story, which is so cute. I don't know. I just really liked it. I thought that was a cool twist. But overall, it's just too many things. And the other thing is that this movie actually feels really cheap in terms of how it looks. They basically saved the best visuals for the trailer. And even then, some of those visuals are a little, like, I think they chose specific moments. That's how wild it is. Basically, I understand why they didn't release another trailer. Sometimes I prefer that. I only want one trailer because I like a little bit of mystery to the project. But I think we should also be wary of that, or I'm going to be wary of that going forward now, because I realize in this case, they probably didn't give us another trailer because they knew that's all they had for the best parts of the movie. Cause yeah, it's clear that they shot on location and did a lot of cool things that would have cost money, but the locations feel really empty. Like, there's like no extras. And the effects, there are effects, but they look really cheap most of the time. Everything just feels really cheap in this movie. But this is the hilarious part. Apparently this movie cost $200 million. Where did that money go? Did they spend it all on the trailer and the talent? I will say as well, the acting is all really good, but $200 million. That's when I was like, man, is this a scam? Did I get scammed? How is this $200 million? The music also is very jarring and kind of off-putting in parts. It just doesn't really match a lot of the times with the scenes. The soundtrack itself also feels like kind of dated. The mixing for the music and just the sound in general is also not very good in the movie, and it'll be like there's no like soundtrack music and then all of a sudden it's like 110. I said this in my reaction and I still feel this way. The music and the mixing are just not good. The acting is one of the best parts of the movie, and it's not even because of the writing necessarily or anything like that. It's more just because these actors are so committed to their performances, which is really hilarious when you look at some of the ridiculous things they are being asked to commit to. But they all commit, and that is the one thing that made the movie fun to watch at times. Bryce Dallas Howard is phenomenal to watch. I love Sam Rockwell. I love seeing all of these characters interacting with each other through, you know, these actors. And there's moments when Bryce Dallas Howard actually made me tear up in this movie, and this movie is ridiculous. Also, Catherine O'Hara is amazing. Like, there's just everyone that's in it is really, really good. But even then, they can only do so much. There's a dance fighting scene in this that just goes on forever. That's the other thing. Like, a lot of the stuff that we have in here, it would be better if it was shorter. This movie runs, I think, just over 2 hours, and it's honestly a bit too long. I think this is a 90-minute movie at tops. There are scenes that go on for like 4 or 5 minutes, it feels, that honestly could be like a 1-minute scene. There's a whole scene where they fight and dance because the joke is that they like didn't get to dance, and Sam Rockwell's character likes to dance and he wants to dance with Rachel, and so they dance while they're like just blowing people away as spies, fighting in this base, which turns out to be a big like oil liner ship or whatever, an oil rig out on the ocean. It's a lot, is what I'm saying. It's a lot. It feels almost at the level that Austin Powers is how ridiculous it gets. There's a whole point where, because they're on this oil rig or whatever out in the ocean, they're having a shootout in this one area, and then oil just goes everywhere. And then Rachel was like, there was this whole thing when I was Ellie where like I was supposed to be really good at skating. Is that real? Or is that just something that like they made me think when they brainwashed me? And you find out, no, that's real. And then Rachel just grabs knives and puts them on her boots and literally skates around the oil and then knife fights everyone. And the whole point of that is because they can't fire any bullets because there's oil everywhere. Crude oil. And then at the end, she just fires a gun anyways and kills everybody. So what was the point of that? That was the part where I was like, okay, this is too ridiculous for even me, because you made a rule and you like almost immediately break the rule. Like at the end of that scene. I should have known though back at the beginning of this movie with the whirly bird, which is a dance move in the movie. However, if you Google whirly bird, you're just gonna get a picture of this bear for some reason from, I don't know, a kid's show or something. Oh, it's a really ridiculous dance move in the film. And you know what? Actually, I should have known before that. I should have known from the trailer with the hair. Yeah. These are warning signs of dumbness, friends, that we should have, our red flag should have been going off. Because here's the thing, it's really ridiculous, which I wouldn't mind, but it doesn't really have a lot of substance. So it's just like ridiculous things for the sake of being ridiculous, as opposed to having some kind of purpose. It's just very empty. It's very cheap feeling and very empty feeling overall as a film. It's just hollow. It's like glitter, but you know, Argyle written in glitter, but then you take that letter and you crack it open and there's nothing inside, nothing but dust. Dust and dreams of a good movie. So yeah, I personally just feel like I should have known this. People are also apparently feeling robbed because Henry Cavill isn't in it as much as they thought. I think they thought he was going to be the main character, even though I feel like the trailer pretty clearly states it's about like Ellie and she writes Argyle, so he's not really in it. I guess they thought he was going to be the real Agent Argyle, and that was going to be the reveal, but that's making a lot of assumptions, I would say. But I think we were robbed in other ways. I think I was robbed of my sanity. Overall, it's a cool concept, but it's not a good movie. And I do think maybe it's some kind of scam. I do not know how Apple expects to make that $200 million back. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So I don't know why this happened, but here we are. I still give it 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 whirly gigs. Just people, their legs red, dancing on top of people being spun around. Oh gosh. There's also a teaser at the end for a film that's supposed to come after, that is supposed to be based on that book that I read. Yeah. I guess it's gonna be a franchise, but based on like the first book that's in the movie that you can read because the book existed because it was released before the movie as part of promotional material for the movie. But then, of course, I thought in the movie that it was revealed that Ellie or Rachel is Argyle, and that's why she was writing, like she was writing her life experiences where she's Argyle. But now Argyle shows up at the end of the movie, and he seems to be his own character who's played by Henry Cavill, except that he has like a weird, like almost like a Southern or Texan accent, which he doesn't in the books. He doesn't in the books. He's American though. But so now I'm confused because I'm like, wait, so is Argyle his own character? And then there's a teaser at the end that's a part of the book with young Argyle, and he goes to the Kingsman bar, and then he gets given a gun, but he says, no, I don't want that gun, and that's in the book. And then they're like, that's gonna be a movie. And so now I'm confused because I thought Argyle was Ellie, but it turns out Argyle is Argyle, and then Ellie is also Argyle. I don't know. Are you confused? I'm confused. Well, that's the end of this review. I've talked too much, and honestly, I'm done. I don't know if I'll watch the next movie, but we'll see. If Bryce Dallas Howard is in it, maybe, because I really liked her in this. That's all I have. Until next time, friends, stay nerdy. Bye!